Hey guys, how are you? I am Tangi B with Wow Productions in Wow Performing Arts Center, and I'm so excited to bring on our next guest, which is the infamous Cynthia Hardy. She has been a mentor to me in secret. Like, I don't even think that she knows that. But I'm so excited to talk to her and have you guys talk to her as well. So let me bring her on here now. Hold on one second.
Oh, wow.
Hi.
It was so delightful to be with you, Tangi.
Yay, I am excited. I'm excited. Okay, so for people who have been living under a rock and doesn't know who you are, tell us about who you are and what you do and that sort of thing.
Well, I'm Cynthia Hardy, and I have a radio and television show that fall under our On Point Media brand. And the radio show is On Point with Cynthia Hardy, and it's every Sunday night from 6 to 7 p.m. on the Big DM 101.3 in South Carolina. But we have an even larger audience that listens to us online at thebigdm.com or through the magic of Facebook Live. We have thousands of people that tune in too. So, and we love giving shouts out to the Big DM and also to Watch Fox, which is the television show that carries our television show. And that keeps us in touch with more than 100,000 viewers and listeners each and every week. I know.
That is awesome.
That is very excited. Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. So tell us about, a lot of people don't know how we met, actually. So I used to work at Bible Way at Midlands CDC, and I met you when we were doing the fitness challenge, I think it was.
Right.
And so I so enjoyed just working with you, and just from there, I'm like, oh my gosh, she is like amazing.
Well, I appreciate that.
Like, she's my Oprah. I don't know if people know that, but you are like my Oprah. So,
thank you.
How talking about, and I think I expressed to you back then how much I really wanted to do what I'm doing now. But how do you think the arts are important to our community, and specifically the Midlands?
Well, I want the viewers and the listeners to know that those years ago when I met you and you were working in an administrative management position over there at the Development Corporation for Bible Way, and it was during that time that you expressed to me that you wanted to be a playwright. And at the time, you're sitting there, you're talking to someone, and you're looking at someone, and they're telling you what they really want to do is write for a living. Well, that hit my heartstrings immediately.
Wow.
Because I know how significant writing is. I mean, people know me as a broadcaster, but at the root of it all, I'm a writer.
Right.
And, being able to tell the stories and give people the information that's important. But I don't find as many people in our communities as need to be there that are actually writers or orators or, people who actually tell the stories and devote their time and efforts to that. So I was always moved by that. And then to see you actually come into your own and actually do it. And just, what you and Donna, your partner, have been able to do in terms of developing, producing, writing. And then after that, the distribution that you have to do in order to be able to garner the audience that you need to. And also the solicitation of partners and all those things that I've seen you be able to do to produce and create a quality product that's consistent. And I think that's probably why you have the legion of followers and fans that you do, because it's true. I mean, the consistency of the product is extremely important. And you were able to pull an acting acumen out of people who I never, ever thought could be actors. I mean, Van Zell hair. I'm like, Van acting? Wow, and so just to be able to see you do that, and there's so many people in our community that you've allowed to get their start, or at least to come into their own on your stage. And it's been just incredible. Every time I see and hear Regina Skeeters sing, I reminisce over the fact that, how spellbinding, she's been in your productions. And the belief and the commitment that so many of your actors and and so many of the people that do so many things in the periphery that people might never see. You
Yeah.
know, the commitment of all these professionals that you bring together with the common, what everybody has in common is a love of the literary work,
Mm-hmm.
and how that has a way of looking at what we're doing and how we're doing it, magnifying it, and bringing the good out
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
delivering it to people each and every time that you do it.
Yeah, yeah, and one of the things that we talk about is how we tell our stories, and how the African American voice is so important. Do you think that having an African American theater is important, and can the Midlands kind of handle that?
You know, that's an interesting question because it's layered in a few different ways, and this is what I mean. The African American experience is a let's just see how to put this best. The African American experience exists in the experience of America. And in
Mm-hmm.
so many ways, when we tell our story, we are telling the story of America.
Right.
So when you have a story that's told from the African American perspective, it can be about anything and it can appeal to all audiences because
Mm-hmm.
it should be of interest to everybody because it is everybody.
Right.
So when you do your works may showcase primarily an African American cast, but it isn't about African American issues. It's
Exactly.
about life and living. And that's what I really love about what it is that you do, and also what it is about your audiences, because your audiences are mixed. And
Yes.
the fact that people, it's kind of like with my radio show and television shows. Oftentimes, I may be speaking to a primarily African American audience, but it's not an African American message.
Right.
It's a message for everybody.
Right.
And so, if our audiences skew one way or the other, it doesn't negate the fact that we have mainstream topics, mainstream messages, and these mainstream messages have merit to the general
Mm-hmm.
population. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what makes you so good.
Thank
You know, our melanin may be our melanin, but
Right.
our messages are mainstream. And I think that
Right.
people need to know that.
Yeah, yeah. And we try our best to make sure that whatever we do, even though we are predominantly African American, that's only by fault. We open our doors to any type of ethnicity. And but we still make sure that no matter what race you are, that you can definitely relate. So a question for you. What has been, or what has been your favorite wow moment?
Mm, mm. I think that I don't know. It's been a few different ones. I
Oh.
remember. I remember when you when Wow um, did the production where you adapted your stage play to a book that had been written by Kevin Raspberry.
Confessions
To,
of a
to,
Man.
to, to see you do that, to see you say, okay, here's a story that has some common themes in it that can be lifted from the page
Mm-hmm.
and put on the big stage,
Mm-hmm.
and that was that's a real breakthrough. It's one thing to know a production company and to know they do good work, but
Yeah.
to also know the author of the book and
Mm-hmm.
to know that putting the two of you all together would not just yield a great production, but one that would really resonate throughout its audiences.
Yeah.
Because you and Anna have a very layered style of writing. It
Mm-hmm.
can be about a family, but it can have so many sub themes, throughout
Yeah.
the whole thing that can cause the viewer to go deeper and deeper into
Mm-hmm.
the message that you're trying to convey. And I think oftentimes when people see the entertainment, they don't necessarily know how layered and what the writing is actually doing to them.
Yeah.
Because you can receive it and you may not even know that I'm just getting bombarded by all these metaphors and similes that are
Right.
making you
Right.
go, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so we don't think about it in that way. We just leave knowing that, boy, that resonated with us.
Right.
And I think that those have been the biggest wow moments, for me. But there have been many. I mean, there have been many. Seeing you have a small house
Mm-hmm.
and appeal to small audiences and then see you graduate into larger audiences and a
Mm-hmm.
larger house.
Right.
And to actually see you be able to tour into several different states
Yeah.
and not just one time hitters, you know, these
Mhm.
are places that want you to come back
Right.
and you do go back, you know,
Right.
so all of those things, just knowing where you started from and being able to see the tremendous success
That's awesome.
that you have has just been something good for me to witness. And you've got a good PR lady on your hand too.
Yes, ma'am. I can't do it without her.
She's
Mm-mm.
really, really,
Yes.
really good.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. I don't
Yeah.
even think she understands how good she is a
She's
lot of
really,
times. But she is
really, really
amazing.
good.
Jositra Baxter
Baxter.
now. So what do you think? You know, we're trying to open up this performing arts center here in the community. What do you think what would you think that this would mean to the community?
I think that let me just say this. I think that there are lots of landlords out there that could use what you bring. And I think you'll be surprised by putting this word out to so many people to let them know that you are looking for a freestanding location,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that you can, you know, have as a production house. I think it'll mean a lot to our community. There's so many people. When I first moved to South Carolina, one of the first dates I went on with my now husband was to Trustus Theater to see a play. And I think he was trying to impress me. And I was impressed. You know, your dates don't always take you to a live performance, right?
Right.
And so, but I remember that night that I saw Marilyn Mathias in that play. And sometime later, when I was working for the Urban League, maybe a couple months later, and she walked in the door, I remembered having seen her on that stage.
Wow.
I tell that story because you asked me what would it mean. It'll mean that, you know, because so many people who look for the opportunity to be discovered or look for the opportunity to get their big break, many times they don't have it because they don't have a venue or they don't have a structured entity to be able to associate themselves with. Just like Matthias walked in the door at the Urban League and I went, wow, you're that actress that I saw on stage. You know, in the very same way, you know, I feel that way when I see Melody Williams out there, or some of the other folks that I've seen on your stage before I met them personally.
Right.
You know, when I see them, I recognize and I'm reminded of their talent and what they can do. And so because of that, I'm sure, you know, people get other opportunities. You know, they get to go to higher heights. Or even if they just are using it as a pastime just because they enjoy, I don't know, the adrenaline rush of being on stage and knowing that this is a live performance. And what I say right now out of my mouth is what it's going to be. I can't. Right? I think all of those things matter, but I think giving people a place to launch from, I think that's important, you know, being able to give people a place to launch from. The arts in general add quality of life, a real quality of life to where we live, how we live. And I think we can't miss opportunities like this to be supported of people like you because it enriches where we live and how we live.
Right. And that's one thing that I wish that I would have taken part of more so when I was younger. I had expressed earlier that I didn't know that I could write, but I was writing before I knew that that's what
you
I
were
was
writing.
doing.
That's right.
You know, I had expressed that, you know, when I was younger, I was angry all the time. And so in order for me to kind of get over my anger, I would write. And so by the time when I started doing that when I was 11, by the time I was 16, I had like 90 notebooks. I was writing all the time.
Oh, wow.
But I would write and I was able to kind of free myself or free the anger in my writing. And once I gotten older and I started writing plays, I saw that it was more so healing. You know what I mean? And so writing and being able to tell stories that are impactful is very important to what we do. But we also want to be able to give young people a chance to have a voice.
I think that's really great.
So having a performing arts center will allow that information to kind of get out, and bringing in celebrities like we had Greg Allen Williams come up and did some workshops. We had Tyler Perry's casting director Raven Drummer come up and do some workshops. So these are all things that we want to do for that.
I think that's really great. And here's the other thing that having your own performing arts center will do. You meet them, I meet them, people who want to be actresses, people who want to be famous, people who can see themselves on a big stage. And to be able to give people a place to go, to learn it, to understand the mechanics of it, because it's work, it's hard work. You have to work on being able to write and being able to control tone and temperament and all of those things that you have to have some master over in order to be able to pull a character out and perform. I think people having a place, something, Tangi? Tyler Perry in Atlanta, Georgia is not that far from here. Right down the road. And so if anybody needs encouragement, knowing that you can get there from here, I mean, you're just a perfect example of that, being able to bring in that kind of talent and showing people that it's extremely accessible. I mean, there's so many people, that I see now on the big screen that I know personally, that whose paths have crossed with mine. And, just like we think Hollywood is a long way away, well, Tyler Perry Studios far, you know what I mean? So right down the road. So just thinking about that and knowing that it's production houses and performing arts center like yours that are the feeders to places like that. Exactly. You're grooming the actors and actresses that when they go there for an audition, they get priority treatment because they are already actors. They're not extras. They're not background actresses or actors, but they're actors, and which is really a real big deal, because there really haven't been that many feeder houses to places like that have been accessible to regular people. And so it's a real blessing for our community to be able to have you and Donna and your team and to make it accessible to young people on every level. Right.
So now, what would you say to encourage people, or can you encourage the people to kind of donate to WOW Productions?
Well, I think it's important. I think that we have to invest in the things that we believe in. And I think that by doing so, we encourage other people to support as well. I want to tell my friends that On Point is giving, it's a small donation of $100, but we're proud to give it.
Yes,
we're proud to give it. Yes, and we're proud and hopeful that others will do the same thing and follow suit, because you have just a worthy business. I mean, your arts efforts it's a business, and being able to create and produce a quality product consistently isn't happenstance. You really are working on that in order for that to occur. So I just think that's excellent. And look at Dana says we're preaching. So thank you, Dana. Dana's another one of those good ones.
Yes, she is.
Oh man, just her range in terms of whether she is, I don't know, I can't really say main actress in a performance or secondary, because with you, it seems like everybody's mainstream when they're in your productions. If their parts start small, it seems to kind of grow, they seem to mature. Through all of that. So just being able to see Dana on stage and to see her range of acting and also her vocal ability is just great to see.
Yes,
absolutely, Dana. You are so welcome because you're so good.
Yes,
I've seen her play the wife. I've seen her play the vixen. I've seen her play the girlfriend.
She is amazing. She's amazing. She also does a lot of films. She does a lot of commercials. Like, she's a working actress.
Yes.
And a lot of our people are. We had another girl who started acting with us, moved to New York, and now she's on Broadway.
Oh, that's really good.
We have another actress who started with us. She was so shy and timid, and she attended the workshop with Greg Allen Williams. And she stayed here for a little while, and she was in one of our shows, and then she moved to Atlanta, and then got a starring role in the last movie with Jamie Foxx, Just Mercy.
Oh, wow. Oh,
So
wow.
there is such a wealth of talent that we have here in South Carolina, and I'm so honored to be able to help people launch forward, like Dana and Lori and Scarlett and and other people. But we are just so excited, and we thank you so much for
Sure.
constantly helping and supporting us when we're trying to grassroots and guerrilla marketing and trying to make this thing work and stressing Jositra out to no end.
But you know something, Tangi? This isn't to knock any of the other performing companies, but we do have a few. And for you to be able to join that community and excel in that community, it says a lot, about the product that you are producing. And it's not, like I said, it's nothing to take away from any of the other acting companies or production houses that we have in town. But for you to be able to join that community as a newcomer and excel the way that you are, it says that you're doing a lot of things right. You and Donna and the whole team.
We are trying. We are trying. All right. So we thank you so much. Do you have any last words that you want to share with anyone?
I want to tell people to give. I want to tell people at this particular time, do that for a number of different reasons. We have got to have, and see, yours is one of those businesses right now that we can do the social distancing in. You can have outside performances. You can have a number of things. So as we look at your business, there's only growth from here. So I want to say to people who are out there listening to what it is that we're saying, to match our $100 and exceed it, because you're worth it.
Yay, yay, yay. Thank you so much. And you guys make sure that you tune in on Sundays on the Big DM.
That's right.
On Point with Cynthia Hardy. It is always like, I just sit there a lot of times. Normally I'm washing dishes around that time. And it's just the content that's on that definitely keeps me abreast. And I just love the whole program. So
well, thank you. I do want to tell you that this week we are going to look at the unemployment insurance, the unemployment benefit, and why it's tough on a number of people right now. And also, some people are getting so much unemployment benefit that they don't want to go back to their jobs.
Right.
And it's real, right? It's real. And so the problem is people who got the PPP, which is the money that's supposed to help you retain the employees. People can't get them to come back because they're making so much money on unemployment. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Maybe we can get folks to give a little bit of leeway to folks so they can get their benefit.
Ooh, listen. I mean, there's a lot of, it's easier for them to stay home. And also kind of, it's also hard for them to go back to work. They're opening the businesses, but the schools are still closed. So definitely, Yeah,
that's a tough one. So we'll be talking about that and hearing from several voices, throughout that process.
I'm definitely going to tune in.
I hope you can tune in.
Yes. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Love you. All right, thanks. All right, guys. So here we are. We just spoke with Cynthia Hardy of On Point Media. I am so privileged and honored that she was able to come and join us on today. But stay tuned. We have our next interview is with Shay Harley of House of Harley Radio. So Donna and Shay will take it away. I'm so excited. You guys, please donate. MidlandsGives.org/WowActs. We need your support. We need your finances to help us continue to do what we want to do and to help us grow. We need a building. And so with your help, we can definitely be able to do that. We have a $10,000 goal. There's various prizes that are awarded throughout the day. So help us reach our goal so that we can find a new home and continue to entertain you. And it doesn't matter if you are not in the Midlands and you want to give to help because you like what's going on here, definitely do so. It does not matter where you are. Every dollar counts. And so we need you. We thank you. Love you much. And see you in a little bit. Thanks.